good afternoon, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hector Dominguez, and I am here on behalf of the Cook County Assessor's Office, proud to present to you today a special presentation. Usually, when you're here with me, we're talking about appeals or we're talking about other things that you may not even want to deal with, right? But today, we're going to be very intentional and we're going to talk specifically, mostly about disabled veterans exemptions. We got a special guest with us today, but we got two special guests with us today. But the first guest I want to introduce, that I have the pleasure of introducing, is Major D. Love. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a round of applause. All right, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing wonderful. Thank you for partnering with us. Thank you for letting me do this. The veterans of Cook County are very special to me. I have veterans in my family. I have veterans that didn't make it back home. I got veterans that did come back home. So this is very important to me. So just thank you, because you literally could be doing anything else, like singing at the Sox game or something. You could be doing anything else, but you're here with us. So I appreciate you. You have the floor.
Thank you for having me. Well, good afternoon. For those who don't know me, my name is Major Retired D. Love, U.S. Army Hook. I am the Director of Veteran Affairs for Cook County, Illinois. 12 years active duty in the U.S. Army. And like a lot of my brothers and sisters at arms, I had to transition a bit early for medical reasons. So I medically retired last year, and I've been here with the county now for a little over a year. So just, very, very, very pleased to be able to continue service, even though what I thought was going to be a 20-year career got cut short, but I can still be assistance to, my brothers and sisters at arms, because I know firsthand what it is that we go through, and it's a labor of love for me.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I don't want to get all a little sentimental, but shout out my Uncle Glenn. He's not with us anymore, but he was definitely doing his thing in there. He was Navy, and he was when he was alive, he was like, Hector, I love how you try to take care of the veterans. He didn't live in Cook County, so he was like, nephew, can you take care of me? I'm like, no, I can't, man. I'm sorry. So, if you ever come home, we could take care of it. But I just want to thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you so much. I would love to just go right ahead and give the people what they want today. You can just hang out. And when we get to the Q&A, I definitely would love to tag team with you. And I'm hearing that we're having another guest come in later. So maybe we'll do a little, I don't know what that's called, but one of those things.
Right, absolutely.
All right. Let me go ahead and, we have our special guest, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Assessor Fritz Kagi. Round of applause.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Hector, and hey, Major, good to see you. Thanks for having us here today.
Good afternoon, sir. Thanks for having me as well.
Well, hey, this is a great event. Hector, have you and Major, have you explained what we have in store here today?
Negative.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the important exemptions that we have for veterans, and these are actually some of the most valuable exemptions that are available under our state's property tax code. So we want to make sure that everyone is participating, through the hard work of our team members like Hector, through the efforts of the county, and so many others. We've enrolled many new members of into the exemptions, over 1,000 in the last year, because we want to make sure that there are no barriers to access for this important benefit for the people who sacrificed the most for us and paid the ultimate sacrifice through disability in service on behalf of our country. And this is the way that in our property tax code that the people show their appreciation to you. But you have to apply for the benefits first. And so that's what we're going to tell you about right here. This is what you need to do is you have a service level. First of all, the exemption for people for veterans with a disability under service, a disabled veteran. You have your service level of disability certified by the VA, by the Veterans Administration. And then based on your level of disability, you have tiering of the exemptions, the exemption amount. And if you have more than 70% disability, you receive basically a full exemption from property taxes. It's $250,000 of equalized assessed value, which basically covers just about all homes that are out there. So with that disability more than 70%, that is how in our state we show that we're paying tribute to you for having made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of us. But if you have a lower level of disability, there's still a substantial amount of exemption for you. If you have 50 to 69% disability under the VA's certification, you receive a $5,000 reduction in your EAV, which leads to substantial savings. And if you have 30 to 49% disability, you receive a $2,500 reduction in your equalized assessed value. So these are the way you do this is you apply to our office with that documentation showing that you have that level of disability certified by the VA. And then we enroll you, and we can, what you can do to do that enrollment process is you can do it in any number of ways. You can do it online. You can do it by coming to our office, and you can make an appointment. You don't have to stand in line at our office or at our branches anymore. The technology we put in place allows you to make an appointment online. If you don't have a computer that's available for that, you can call to make that appointment. And you can always come up to the office. We're here to serve you. We have really friendly staff, and you can always call us if you have any questions. So you have a variety of different ways to apply for this exemption. And we're trying to lower barriers for annual enrollment. The last couple of years under COVID, the state suspended the rules that required annual reapplication for it, that unless you had, you could certify for us that you were no longer qualified, we were renewing these the exemption for people with disabilities each year under COVID. But typically you do have to apply for this each year. Why is that? Because some levels of disability do change from year to year under the VA's formula. Now we are trying to seek additional legislation and data cooperation with the VA so that many of our disabled veterans who have a disability, such as through you lost limbs fighting on behalf of our country, that's a disability that's permanent, and we want to make sure that there's more data sharing. So we're working with the VA, with our government, so that we can have this data sent to us each year so that you don't have an additional barrier, an additional hardship each year to certify this status. But for now, you do have to apply each year. And we want to make sure that veterans who have not been participating that are eligible do apply. Hector, do you want to go to the next slide here where we can talk about process or the returning veterans exemption?
Absolutely.
So those are the qualifications. You can see that qualifications list on the previous slide. Let's just give a chance of people to see the previous slide. Here you are. So Illinois resident that served a member of armed forces on active duty. You've had at least 30% service-connected disability certified by the VA. You own and occupy the property as your primary residence on January 1st. Then you can see the total equalized assessed value on the exemption. And then you need to apply each year, as we mentioned. And it's prorated if it becomes owner-occupied during the year. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. Here is the eligibility for the returning veterans exemption. Now, the state has pretty narrowly defined how you qualify for this exemption. It provides property tax savings for veterans who are returning from active duty in armed conflict. How do you qualify for this exemption? There are fewer than 1,000 people each year who qualify for it, but we want to make sure that everyone who does is getting it. So first, you need to be an Illinois resident. You need to be returning from active duty in an armed conflict involving our armed forces of the United States. You need to either own or have had a legal or equitable interest in the property and use it as a principal place of residence on January 1st of that tax year. And you're liable, and you need to be liable for the payment of property taxes to begin with. How do you apply? Hector, do you want to explain how you apply for it? You can do it online.
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you so much for being here with us, boss. And thank you for transitioning it over. So to apply for the returning veterans exemption, along with any other exemptions that we have that you may qualify for and be eligible for, You can do it online at cookcountyassessor.com, and then you would go to the exemption tab and just click on the exemption you believe you qualify for. Once you get there and you click on set exemption, there's a list of requirements or your eligibility, very similar to what you see here. And as long as you qualify, you can go ahead and file online. For those of you all who may not want to file online, I recommend it. I suggest that's the way you do it. It's the best way to do it. But maybe you don't want to. Maybe you're not comfortable with the computer. That's fine. You can go ahead and you can mail in your application as well. 118 North Clark, room 320, Chicago, Illinois, 60602. You can do those things. And depending on where you live at within the county, you can also do this at your elected official's office. So maybe an alderman or maybe a township assessor, something like that. You can do those types of things there as well. You want me to keep going, boss, or you want to?
Yeah, keep going, and then I can pipe in as needed.
Beautiful. So what I'm going to do is cover the other set of exemptions that our office has. So one that's very popular with people, but not very popular at the same time because many people don't know about it, is the home improvement exemption. This exemption will cover you on any improvements you do to your property up to $75,000. So simple math, if your home is worth $100,000 and your property hasn't, and you do an improvement on your property for up to $75,000, well, then your property is supposed to cost $175,000. That's how much we're supposed to value it at. But this exemption actually covers you for 4 years up to 75. So instead of being charged on it or taxed on it, for 4 years, you'll be covered. But what I would like to do, if it's okay with everybody here, I would like to give the floor to Major Love so that she can do her. Give me 1 second. Let me stop sharing so that she can share her presentation. And then I'll jump in at the very end because nobody wants to hear me. They want to hear you and they want to hear Major Love.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Hector.
No problem.
So here within the, we're approaching Veterans Day. So thank everyone for your service, especially the veterans that still work for Cook County, like myself. We got out and then continued service, not only to our country, but to our communities as well. Here in the Department of Veteran Affairs, we have been incredibly busy over the last year and have a multitude of different services for the veterans here within Cook County. One of the biggest programs that we have just launched is called our Chicago Cook Technology Academy. It's amazing program, a free 7-week-long training program for not only veterans, but transitioning service members. So if you know of a service member who is on their way back here to Cook County and is starting to look for that job, or maybe wanted to make the transition out to Cook County, this is a perfect opportunity for them. The county, we allotted $750,000 to fund this program. As I said before, it's completely free, 7-week-long training program, and it provides our veterans and transition service members in cloud development and cloud administration training. Upon completion of the Chicago Cook Technology Academy, in which we have partnered with National Able Network and Microsoft with our participants within the CCTA, as we like to call it for short, we'll have the opportunity to interview with the network of our county hiring partners for full-time employment and permanent positions as well. So this is an absolutely amazing opportunity. This is the website and the phone number that you can give a call to go ahead and apply if this is something that you would like to do, or a veteran that may be looking to transition over from their current field of work. As I was a logistics officer in the Army and now I'm a county employee, into a new career field. Currently, we have about a dozen participants within this first cohort and are looking to place about 20 into the cohort next spring. Additionally, something else that we're going to be launching is our Veteran Service Officer Corps. Very excited about that. As we know, we have veteran service officers at the state level, but we've allocated $450,000 to fund the Cook County Veteran Service Officer Corps. So therefore, we can begin to provide that direct and expedient care and services to our veterans here at the county level as well. incredibly excited about it because our first cohort of veteran service officers will actually begin their training next week online. So we're looking to have our VSO core for the county up and running by the end of the month. And of course, as we know, as some of you may have called, or if you've called or reached out to the Chicago regional office, a VSO can help a veteran or, dependent family members with a multitude of things. Everything as simple as, grabbing your DD-214 all the way up to appealing a claim or starting an initial claim as well. And then for our veterans or our dependent family members who are in need of any type of emergency assistance, we have an amazing, amazing organization called our Veterans Assistance Commission, and they provide just that. So when you look at your Veterans Assistance Commission, as those of us who were in at one time, think of it like how the Army has emergency relief fund or things of that nature. That's what they do. So if you need assistance with your rent, if you need assistance with mortgage, any food assistance, there's gift cards available for that. Transportation, they do have the CTA bus cards, utility assistance as well. So just a multitude of services that they can provide. And then they're also just a wealth of knowledge too. And yes, so at any time you or a veteran, if you are the veteran or if you know a veteran who's in need of emergency assistance, our Veterans Assistance Commission is an amazing place where you guys can check into to be able to receive that care that you need. So that's just a small chip of what we have going on right now. But I definitely welcome to questions once we get to that portion.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate all the hard work that you're doing and how you're trying to get everybody involved. That's incredibly awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make an announcement. So I see that some people are in the comment section already dropping questions. Beautiful. If you're like me, hopefully you're not, but if you're like me, I can't remember what I want to ask if I don't ask it right away. So if you have a question, go ahead and write it in the comment section right now. Once we get to the Q&A portion, we are going to dive into these questions and answer every single one of them. This is being recorded. It is going to be posted up as well. So don't freak out. Go ahead and write your question down, and we'll be here as long as we have to be so we can make sure everyone gets answered, right? Every question gets answered. So now I'm going to share my screen. Give me a quick second.
And Q&A is always the best part of events like these, so don't hold back.
Literally my favorite part. All right, present screen, share window. All right, so the responsibility of the assessor's office, my boss is here. He already went through this, but I'm just going to touch it up really quick. It's our job to assess 1.9 million different properties in Cook County. We do this by using what's called a mass appraisal system. Our office is responsible for giving you a value on what we believe your home is worth. Also, our office is responsible for giving you your exemptions or your discounts, which is what we're going to be talking about heavily here. Heavily here. And the last thing our office does is we kind of do what's called an appeal system, where you can come in and say, hey guys, I don't agree with the value that you gave my property, but we're going to touch on all of those things in a second. What we're not responsible for is mailing out the tax bill, collecting the tax bill money, the tax rates or the levies in your specific township, and the state equalizer. So every 3 years, properties get reassessed. There's no way we could reassess all 1.9 million every year at one time. That's why we break it up into 3 sections. So every 3 years, these specific townships are reassessed. Last year, we were focusing on Chicago. This year, we're focusing on the northern suburbs of Cook County. And then next year, we'll be doing the south and the western suburbs of Cook County. Every single township has 30 days to appeal. So you'll know this because you'll get something from our office that you know, or you'll get something from, Barlam and Bailey's and taxation, the lawyers or whatever. You'll get something in the mail from them as well. This is what is called a reassessment. Notice this has very important information. This has your PIN number, your assessed value, what our office believes it's worth, your neighborhood code, your property class, your assessment. All of this information is super important for you, especially if you're trying to file an appeal or contest your value. This is a second installment tax bill. Now, you get 2 of these a year. You get a blue one when it's cold outside, typically around February. And then you get a yellow one when it's warm outside, typically around July. This year is going to be mailed out in November, due by the end of December. There are many reasons why people want to file appeals. The three major reasons is lack of uniformity, overvaluation, and incorrect property description error. That's not what we're talking about today, but we just want to give you a little, pepper in some of the different things that our office does. Here's what I want to focus on right now: your exemptions. We have a total of 8 of them. The assessor already went over 2 of them, and I already went over the home improvement exemption. But the very first one, almost everybody, not everybody, but almost everybody qualifies for this one. It's the homeowner's exemption. It's very simple. If you own and occupy the property as of January 1 in the taxable year, so what we're talking about is January 1st, 2021, you get the discount as long as you're not getting it anywhere else, right? You can only get exemptions where you are. This exemption is automatically renewed every year. So once you do it correctly, you don't have to worry about it again, unless there's a deed change or something on your property. Fun fact, for people who are building their property or they have a newly constructed property and you could not move in January 1st of the year because it didn't exist yet, this exemption is prorated for that. The next one I want to talk about is senior citizen. This is for anyone who was born in 1956 or before. You must own and occupy the property, but it doesn't matter when in the year. It can literally be January 1st or December 31st. As long as you own and occupy the property within the taxable year, you get this discount as well. Anybody who received this last year, due to COVID, we did automatically renew it for you, but everyone must apply for it again next year. The senior freeze, super similar to senior citizen, except this one has an income cap. So you must have been born in 1956 or before. You cannot make more than $65,000 as a total household income. For the exemption that we're talking about for 2021, we need the income for 2020. So we understand. You must have also owned and occupied the property for 2 consecutive January 1s. So that's January 1, 2020 and January 1, 2021. You must be liable for the payment of the property taxes, and it must have been your primary residence. This exemption was also automatically renewed from last year as well. So if you got it last year, you will get it this year because of COVID. But next year, all applicants must file this application again, brand new. Persons with disability exemption, this is different than veterans with disability exemption. This, you don't have to be a veteran at all. Or you could have been a veteran with a service-connected disability, but your eligibility rate was less than 30, then you want to focus here. So all you would have to do is contact our office, go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com/persons-disabilities-exemption. That's on our website. And I'm sure somebody's going to put it in the comment section as well. And here, you would just use a P-tax form, give that to your doctor. Your doctor fills it out on your behalf, and then you submit it. And then as long as you meet the requirements, you will receive this discount. This discount is different for everybody, depending on what township you live in, but it ranges from about $125 to like $150, $160. So it just depends on where you live at. And the requirements are that you must own and occupy the property January 1 of 2021, liable for the property taxes, and you must have been disabled in the year or become disabled in the year in question. So we're talking about 2021. The long-time homeowners exemption. This is everyone's favorite exemption. This is for anyone who owned and occupied the property for 10 consecutive years. So from January 1, 2011 to January 1, 2021. Your total household income cannot be greater than $100,000 as a total household income. And your property must have increased significantly, the EAV, the equalized assessed value of your property, must have increased significantly depending on which township you live in for those 10 years. So to make this easy for you, if you qualified, our office would have already mailed you out your application back in April. And I would love to sit up here and say that we get it right all the time, that we're 1,000%. We're not. Come on. We know that, right? So if you feel you qualify and we dropped the ball or we didn't mail you out your application, that's fine. You can contact us directly. That information will be in the comment section, or just ask the question and I'll give you that information on how to contact us directly so we can actually do the math for you to show you why you do qualify or why you do not. Veterans with disability exemption, the assessor already talked about this, but if you have a service-connected disability of 30% or greater, you get a discount and it's tiered off. So 30 to 49% is X removed off your tax bill. 50 to 69% is X removed off your tax bill, and 70 to 100%, you don't pay property taxes at all as long as your home is not worth more than $800,000. That's about $250,000 in equalized assessed value. If for whatever reason you do have a property greater than that, then you are responsible for the difference. Returning veterans, the assessor tackled this one as well. This is for anyone who comes back from active duty. This is a unique exemption because it is kind of like a 2-year exemption. It's for the year you return and for 1 year afterwards. So, and the home improvement exemption I already talked about, but it's just a way to save you money on being taxed on your property when you go ahead and remodel it and try to make it better, right? How can you check your property's exemption history? Super easy. Go to our website, cookcountyassessor.com. There you can check your exemption history, your appeal history, your assessment history, your neighbors' information if you got their PIN number or their, I'm just joking, you don't want to do that, but you can do that. On our website, you can do all of that. You can read about different assessments, the different data. For the first time in the history of the assessor's office, our data is actually public. It's on our website, literally under the data tab, right? Very simple. If you are one of the people who are in the comment section, I already saw 2 of them, where you said, hey, I didn't know I had to apply for my exemptions, or hey, I forgot. The deadline was August 26th. That's the bad news. The good news is we have a certificate of error process. What does that mean? That means we can go all the way back to 2018 and recoup any of the exemptions that you may have forgot to file for, or you did file for, but it never got to us, or your dog ate it in the mail. It doesn't matter. Whatever the excuse is, it's irrelevant. We can go back and fix that today. So we can do 2018, 2019, and 2020. But if you have an exemption, if you're trying to file for a certificate of error for 2021, that process is going to be opening super soon. So you definitely want to get in tune with our office for that information. But all certificate of errors are due in December so that they can be processed correctly. How do you get in contact with us? How do you stay connected with our office? How do you do these things that we're talking about? Super easy. You can call us at 312-443-7550. We do answer the phone. Yes, we do. You're going to have to speak to a robot when you first call. You're going to have to put in your PIN number in the automated system. But once you do that, it'll transfer you to a human being. You can also connect with us on social media. We are socially active, ladies and gentlemen. You can find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on MySpace, on Black Planet, all of that. Just kidding. The last 2 don't exist anymore. But you can find us on all of these different platforms. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can search for us, or you can open up your camera app, hover over this QR code. And if you have an iPhone, it'll take you directly to our Linktree account. If you don't have an iPhone, just download a QR code reader on your phone and you can do this. And from here, you can go to our website. You can make an appointment. You can file an appeal, file exemptions, download brochure guides. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can do all kinds of things using this QR code. So you can, and lastly, sorry, I always forget this part. You can make an appointment for in-person assistance as well if you want to take that route. You can go to our downtown location, 118 North Clark, Chicago location. Go to our Markham Courthouse location. That's the south side, 16501 South Kedzie Avenue. Or you go to Skokie on the north side, 5600 West Old Orchard Road, room 149. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not be scared. Please do not be intimidated. We are here to help. This is what we do. This is what I love to do. That's why they're all looking at me crazy. This is what I love to do. But now for my favorite part, we're going to jump into the questions and do the Q&As. So,
all right. And now while these questions are coming in, I just wanted to highlight for everyone a couple of crucial pieces of information that Hector just had for you. First of all, remember, if you haven't had your exemptions, you can still get a certificate of error to recoup the money that you overpaid because you didn't have them. So it's kind of like correcting the record for the last few years. And he mentioned that there's a deadline coming up at the end of December. If you haven't had an exemption since 2018, we can look back up to 4 years, but we want to get that in place before December. If you wait until after December, 2018 falls off and you can only look back to 2019. So everybody, it's really important to hustle over the next month before that deadline comes up. So let's do this thing. That's why we're doing this this workshop right here. He mentioned two other crucial pieces of information, which is great, which is something that all of you can do. He mentioned that in addition to the certificate of error, that you can now find all of your exemption history online. And you can find anyone's exemption history online. So, for example, if you are a member of a VFW organization or another organization, you can not only look up yourself, but you can also look up your fellow veteran to see if they have their exemptions. And so think of the enormous good you can do just by saying to your fellow service man or woman that, hey, I know you've got a disability and I see you don't have a disabled veterans exemption. This is worth a lot of money to you. Why don't you go to the assessor's office and sign up for it? And that is an incredibly generous thing to do for your fellow service member. Even if you're not a service member, but you have loved ones or friends that are, this is something you can do for them too. This is all part of getting everyone enrolled in these benefits that you're entitled to. So I just wanted to call that out. Now let's go to the questions.
My favorite part. Let's do it. All right. So this is actually a YouTube question, so it's worth 20 points. David says, can we apply for previous years if we hadn't received the exemption? If so, how many years back? Absolutely. Boss, you wanna do this one?
There we go. That's what we just covered. You can do it through the certificate of error. You can apply for it online. You might have to bring some documents, the service letter from the VA that certifies your disability status for those years. But the whole status is what you need to do for these exemptions is outlined on our certificate of error page. And our staff is here to assist you by phone, in person, at the downtown or at those branch offices. So Hector, you want to add anything else?
No, I think you tackled it 100%. I think you killed it, boss. I would just say, ladies and gentlemen, please don't think you have your exemptions. Let's make sure we have your exemptions. And the best way to do that is to contact our office. You can look back at your old tax bills, but don't go digging for that. We can do it for you. Just contact us directly and we can make it happen for you. We have another question from David. For the future, what date should we have on the calendar annually as a reminder to submit for a timely veterans exemption? Great question, David. So that date is going to change, not drastically, but a little bit every single year, depending on what's happening. Obviously, with COVID, everything got pushed back. Typically, these exemptions came out between January, February, and March. This year, or next year, sorry, I'm going to anticipate, unless there's some type of drastic change or something, probably February, March, and April. So
I think a good time is if it's the first quarter of the year, that's the time to refresh on this. When you're getting that first installment tax bill, it's kind of a good reminder. Now, your exemption actually won't appear on that first installment of the tax bill, but that's sort of a good reminder when you get that tax bill to say, you know what? Now that I'm writing this check here, now that this thing is being taken out of escrow from my bank account, how about I check up on my exemptions?
All right, Ross, man, we got 3 YouTube comments. Let's go. So Ross says, side note, every time we get a new subscriber on YouTube, boss, I want to put like a big alarm, something playing in the background. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it says, in relation to the Technology Academy, are there any opportunities for training in occupations outside of IT, such as contracting, etc.?
That is a great question. To answer it, yes and no. Directly from any programs that I've created, not at this time. But with our partner organization and the National Able Network, they have a program that's called Veterans Forward. And with their Veterans Forward program, that is where you can go to train and get certifications in different fields that you're interested in as well. To better answer your question based on what it is you're looking for in particular, because as I like to say, we have an app for that. Here at the county, we have a wealth of different hiring partners that are always looking for a diverse level of of applicants, especially looking to hire veterans too. So if you would like to, please shoot me an email at veterans.affairs@cookcountyil.gov. Also include your resume as well, so that I know exactly what it is that you're looking for, so I can connect you to the program that's best suited for you. But I definitely tell you that Veterans Forward is an amazing place to start with the National Able Network. But just go ahead and shoot me an email so we can take a look into your situation.
And Major Love, that is great. I just want to underline all the things that you just said. And they're very true of the assessor's office. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the terrific opportunities we have here in our civil service unit at the assessor's office. Because what do? We take a look at the lay of the land for all the buildings out there to see what's out there. We're doing reconnaissance all the time to see what is the census of buildings and being constructed, and what's the layout out of our neighborhoods, what's going on out there. Then we have a team of analysts that's keeping its finger on the pulse of the market to see what's going on there. Also, we are basically a giant data analytics platform when it comes to buildings and markets, and we do modeling, and we use lots of information technology in that. And as you might have heard, we are trying to provide services for the public. So we have a lot of need for project management and operations knowledge and leadership and know-how. And people who've served in our armed forces are perfect for this kind of work, because we need people who are reliable, who can engage in teamwork, who can be leaders, who can solve problems, who can use technology, and who want to apply the things they picked up in our armed forces for the public good. So these are all really great things at our office, and you can always look on our website at cookcountyassessor.com for the employment opportunities that we have. We're going to be ramping up. We're going to need people out there in the field who go out just to see which buildings are being built, who can take a tablet to see what kind of buildings are out there, what's being built, what's going on in different neighborhoods. Are we up to date on the information that we have? And for customer service, for serving your fellow veteran, for serving your fellow service member, for other members of the public when they need exemptions. We need people who can interact with the public and get this job done. So we hope all of you will keep an eye on our website as these job openings open up, and be ready when they're there.
All right, this is a Facebook question from Magnificent One. That's a very cool name. I am currently in the process of closing on a home next week. I am service connected at 80%. Thank you for your service, and have been for over 10 years. Unfortunately, since the property tax bill has not been released to Cook County, my estimated closing costs have gone from $600 to $4,900 due to this delay. Is there anything that can be done to help me and other vets who might be in the situation that has created an extreme barrier to closing on a property? I love to be in my home by Thanksgiving holiday.
Well, Magnificent One, thanks for that great question. I think you'll be happy to know that those bills are going to be published online next week by the treasurer.
Let's go.
So that will, we're I think a lot of lenders out there, they should be doing better work to see how changes in assessments actually translate into higher or lower taxes. And we think they could tighten up their work a little bit. Right now, they're assuming if your assessment goes up 30%, your taxes will go up 30%, which is not true. And they also don't give you credit for the exemptions that you're likely to have. For example, as a veteran with a service-connected disability of 80%, which is probably going to exempt you from property taxes altogether. But once those bills are published and clarified, then they should be able to change their underwriting for you immediately, so that can be done. And we are always happy here to help you if you need any further information. But when those tax bills are published by the treasurer next week, they'll be published online. You can take that information to the bank, as it were.
One thing, boss, I wish we could have one of these type of events with mortgage companies, so we can break this down. Like, guys, do you know the unnecessary pressure you're putting homeowners on by not taking the simple step of Googling and oh my God. Anyway,
we do have an initiative going with our data science team to work with the mortgage servicers industry. We've been telling them, hey, the multiplier is going to be coming down, and they're like, well, we haven't seen multiplier be published yet? Well, we said there's a tentative multiplier from the Illinois Department of Revenue. Is that not good enough for you? And then they have determined the multiplier is coming down from 3.2 to 3.0. They have that final multiplier has been published. So already some of the elements of the picture have come into view that we can help with. But yes, we think we're with you in the trenches there, Major. Your name is not up there, but
Magnificent One.
Magnificent One. But we are trying to make it better. But just know that help's on the way really soon.
Let's see what's next. What's next? Oh, Magnificent One, thank you for having this event today. No, you know what? Thank you for being here. You literally could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with us. So thank you. And
we're connected to you, and you're all protecting us. So we thank you, Magnificent One, and we're just here to deliver for you.
Ms. Sheila Finley says, why are attorneys sending me offers to lower my taxes? Because that's how they make their money.
It's kind of like if you ask a barber if you need your hair cut. What kind of answer do you think you're going to get?
Good answer, boss.
I don't have much hair left, but I do know that even if I ask my barber if I need a haircut, he'll say I do. And it's kind of the same with attorneys sending you all sorts of promises. The thing to know is you do not need a lawyer to represent to us what your house is worth, because that's really what it's all about. You're you are the best estimate. You're the expert on your own home. And when you do an appeal with us, it's all about just taking a look at your home and seeing what it's worth. We've really dramatically reduced the amount of situations where you have a home and there's another home like yours that's treated very differently. That used to be a pretty great grounds for appeal when we didn't have our data systems up to snuff years ago. But we run a lot of tests before we send out our assessments, and so they're pretty consistent. A lot of the errors that come about are just because we don't have the right square footage or the right information about your house. So why would you want to give up some of the savings to a lawyer to just represent what you know better than them? You're the greatest expert on your home. Our analysts just look at the data and the facts of the case, and they don't look at the name of that lawyer. So why not keep all of this for yourself? If you live in the suburbs, you can use your township assessor, which works for you for free in navigating this process. And we have a great customer assistance team to help you out. We want to make sure that you're keeping all of your own money, and you shouldn't ever let anyone charge you for any exemptions that you haven't had that you're going to be enrolling in. This is something that's, you just go to a website to get enrolled. It's your money. No one should be taking a commission off of those exemptions that you have earned, and they have always been yours. All you have to do is fill out a form on our website. So that's my soapbox. Anything to add? And by the way, when you appeal to us, there's no charge. It's free.
It's $3.99.
Never been easier.
Jimmy White says, I really need a letter showing my tax exemptions for my mortgage. I visited in person twice. Please assist. So the best way to do this, I'm just gonna be completely honest, is there's two ways. One, you can let your mortgage company know that historically exemptions are always shown on your second installment tax bill. They're just pretending like they don't know that, even though they've been paying your taxes for 150 years. The second thing you can do is make an appointment and see if you can get something from one of our in-person locations that you can give to your mortgage company. I can't say that. I can't say that the mortgage company will be satisfied with that, but that would be my opinion.
And you can go to our website to show, which exemptions you have applied for which years.
What else we have? Oh, and guys, I also put in the comment section our contact information. Literally, to get through all the red tape, there is no red tape, but that's just the same. You can use this link that I just posted and email us directly. Our communications department is literally sitting in the comment section right now. We're all texting each other right now and getting all these questions so we can make sure we answer them accordingly. So please feel free to use the use the link that I just posted on there as well. Robin Winter says, how about the widow of a veteran? Very good question. This is my aunt. right? Look, this is not my aunt, not Robin, but my aunt is in this situation. So, Robin, here's what the law says. If you are the widow of a service-connected veteran who has a service-connected disability of 30% or greater, you keep your exemption as long as you don't move and you don't remarry. So if you move or you remarry, you no longer benefit from that exemption. Ross P. YouTube comment. Will the surviving spouse of a deceased veteran who receives 100% tax exemption be eligible for exemption as well? Absolutely, as long as you don't remarry or you don't move. What's next? Robin Winter says, why do I still have to get the letter about his disability percentage each year when it will never change? He passed away. I've been getting the letter, but it never changes. One, I'm very sorry for how emotionally taxing that probably is on you. That is, unfortunately, that is not our rule. That is the way the legislation is written out. What I would encourage you to do, I have seen this in the past. It doesn't work for everybody because some I'm not going to place blame, but some people just want to help, and some people, they just figure it out. What I would encourage you to do, Ms. Robin, is to contact the VA and say, hey, can I get a letter showing that on his passing, he was X percentage of disability, and there's no way that it can change because he is no longer with us. That is what I would ask if I were you.
And Robin, Hector, that was a great reply there. I wanted to add a couple other things. First of all, Robin, we're sorry that the law has, and the data that comes in, these two things are sort of coming together to make you have to relive this experience every year. We don't want you to have to do that. I've talked to so many veterans who lost their limbs in battles that go back to the Battle of Chosin Reservoir in Korea, where people lost their limbs and they said, I'm not getting them back. Why do I have to recertify this every year? We have to follow the law, which says that you have to apply for it every year. And the disability percentage does change every year, but not always. What are we trying to do to make this better? First of all, we're working with our elected leaders in Congress so that, because we're not the only state that has this exemption. It's true, not many states have this. Arizona has this. A couple other states have this. But this is the kind of information that the VA should share with assessors around the country every year, so that maybe you could assume that that disability status doesn't change unless you notify us, or there's ways for them to recertify in the data so that we don't have to put up this additional barrier every year. So we're working on that. And Robin, what I love it if you could do is if you could send an email with your contact information to our team, and then we could tell your story to our Senator Duckworth, who of course gave her limbs to serving for our country in Iraq, and so feels that experience of other veterans, and is going to be helping us with things like this. We could take the story of your experience to move for legislative changes, or just changes administrative procedures at the VA so that this can work better. So if you could send your contact information to Hector, or
the link is right here. I'm going to repost it one more time. It goes directly to us.
Okay, great. So in that link, just send your information, and we'll take we'd love to take your story so we can work with our leaders so we can make this work better for you.
Let's see what else we got. David said, man, YouTube is lit today. Thank you for sharing this information. I see that I have received the exemption for 2020. Did you share for 2021? It will be automatically applied? Absolutely. Because of COVID-19, any exemption that was applied on your tax bill for 2020 is and was automatically renewed for this bill coming out. When did you say it was coming out again, boss?
Well, it's going to be published online next week by the treasurer, we hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's our members in the General Assembly who got legislation passed that allows some of these exemptions, like the disabled veterans exemption, to have this automatic renewal under the COVID conditions. So they should get credit for that happening.
Absolutely. Jimmy White says, thanks. Your Markham office is great. We know. We love
We
it.
have gotten a lot of feedback about our terrific team at Markham, so thank you for passing that on. You know, when we survey our team members here at the assessor's office and ask them what gives them joy and satisfaction from their job, it's serving people, and I can tell you that praise from the public really puts wins in their sails. So thank you. The other thing I'd like to know is that we're going to be reopening our Bridgeview branch office in a couple months. I've heard great reports of how it's looking. So that'll be an additional fourth location for everyone, for folks who live in the western suburbs, as another location. So look out for that.
Any other questions? I don't think so.
Guys, you have been a great audience. If you have another question that you didn't get answered, or if you're looking at a recording of this event, Hector is going to tell you where you can reach out to us, get more information, or get your question answered. But
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone. And Major DeLong, thank you for this opportunity here. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I just want to thank everyone who's here. Guys, it's lunchtime, kind of. You literally could be doing anything else in the world, but you're here with us. Thank you so much for caring. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being a great neighbor and sharing this presentation. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, however you're watching this, and you're tagging your neighbors, like Mr. Rogers said, and sharing this information with everybody, thank you so much. We want to just pray that you guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be wise, be safe. Don't get blown away by the wind. And just have a great time, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Major DeLove, for the opportunity once more.
Thank you, sir.